Welcome, food travelers. I'm Micah.
And I'm Simon. We are back in our hometown and headed to the city of Renton, which is about 15 to 20 minute drive south of Seattle. We are going to the buffet over at a place called Feast. It's an Asian buffet, and this is a first for me. I've actually never visited here, and I didn't even know it exists, but after coming to the buffet, I was actually really happy that we came over here and filmed an episode.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been back here. I used to come here all the time with my family, and it's a really large buffet. They are open 7 days a week, and at the time of recording, for lunch they are about $20.99 a person for adults. So just check the website before heading down to make sure the pricing is still current.
And yeah, I was definitely surprised about the size of this buffet. On the outside, it didn't look small, but kind of has one of those kind of facades where it looks large but not extremely large. Like you were thinking a pretty good size. And in my opinion, when I kind of saw the outside, I was thinking on the inside it'll be just slightly bigger than if, for those who remember, a old country buffet or something similar like that, Golden Corral sometimes. I was thinking about that size, but as I walked in and went through, I was really amazed with the size of it. It was very large, and there is tons of seating, and there actually is quite a bit of stations where all the different foods were.
Yeah, we came here right when they opened around 11 a.m. I believe, and the seating filled up really fast too. There was like tons of people who came in on a weekday, and I was pretty amazed by seeing that. I wasn't expecting to see that many people that early.
Yeah, Micah, I completely agree with that. It was just pretty amazing. Originally, as being essentially one of the first, I think we were either the first or like the second group that came in, and there was kind of nobody behind us, so I thought, okay, we'll kind of have the buffet all to ourselves for the most part. But once we sat down and got settled in, all of a sudden this just large inflow of people started just coming in and filling everything up, and I was pretty shocked. And it was nice to see, in terms of, you can see that the buffet itself was most likely quality. Seeing that many people come in, especially during a weekday, it's very surprising, but I was happy to see it.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about this buffet is the amount of food that they have, like how big it is. It's not just how big it is in size, it's just how many variety they had. And they didn't just focus like a little bit of Asian section and focus a whole bunch of Western food, but they actually had large amount of Asian food. Like, for example, they have the Peking duck in the bun, and that's something that you don't see very often, even at an Asian buffet.
Yeah, and something that was pretty interesting was that they already kind of formed the bun with the duck and the sauce on it for you as well, instead of making you get pieces of the ingredients and putting it yourself together. But for the most part, as we stated earlier, it's an Asian buffet, so the majority of the dishes are of Asian descent. So you'll find the kind of the classic things, your wontons. There's a sushi section, and you'll have all these kind of those Chinese dishes in terms of sesame chicken, things like that. But everything itself, for the most part, it looked really good. And at least coming at the beginning of the day, everything was pretty much nice and full, so that was nice to see. So it kind of made the buffet kind of give this aura of this more filled, in my case, kind of a beautiful look to it, where everything's just filled up and looks like everything's just kind of set perfectly.
Yeah, and another thing I really like about this buffet is they have like all these different type of breads too, that they put a little bit of butter on it, so you don't have to like look for butter and put that on yourself. I know I don't usually get bread in general, but seeing how pretty it looked, I wanted to try it, and so I grabbed the roll myself. One thing I did have to wait on was the roast beef. Being one of the first groups of people here, it wasn't readily cut when I got up to the station to get the roast beef. But it was quick though. The guy saw me and he came over quickly and cut a few pieces up, so people who are behind me can just grab it as quickly as possible. And they do offer a Mongolian grill section as well, which is really nice to see. Just having a hot station that you can add more stuff and make your own dish.
Yeah, they'll cook it up right in front of you. Picking all the ingredients you want. And usually I don't grab the Mongolian grill. Not that I don't dislike it, but there's always just other things I want to eat. And so it's always something I just bypass. And if somehow I have the extra space, I may go do it. One of the things that really surprised me that I really don't see in any other buffets was the salmon skin that is fried. That's usually something that you just really don't see because it's not, I don't want to say difficult to make, but it's just so uncommon in terms of what people's palates are, in terms of foods they like to eat. And so that fried salmon skin, that was really surprised to see that. At least for me, one of the things I really do enjoy eating in terms of sushi roll, I would always grab a salmon skin sushi roll, and those are one of my favorite rolls.
Yeah, I agree, Simon. I think salmon skin is something that I haven't seen in other buffets as well. And in terms of layout of this buffet, I think they're pretty organized. They have their salad in one section of the buffet, the grilled items on another section of the buffet. They have all the Asian section, like pretty much spread out, but it's still pretty close together where all the Western foods are. And they have all their meats in one area as well with all the carving. And I think overall, layout wise and where you're seating and where the dessert is right in the center is just a really good layout.
Yeah, so pretty much on the edges you'll have all the different stations and foods, and in that center station, that's where all the desserts are located. So, pretty much pretty simple and easy. We sat pretty much right next to the dessert station. So for us, especially being the first ones in, heading over to the different stations and grabbing the food was quick and easy. So definitely, your standard, I would say, setup for a buffet in terms of seating.
So being at this buffet and seeing all these items, Simon, what was some of the items that you thought you were more excited to try?
Well, I wanted to try the ribs. That was always something that I like to compare in terms of Asian buffets, the Asian style ribs compared to each other, because it's a little different. It's not that Texas barbecue style, so it's always nice to get that different comparison. But also the salmon skin, as you'll see in the video, that was something I was really excited to try, and it was pretty nice and crispy. It had pretty good seasoning on it. The one thing I did wish was one of the combinations I do enjoy with salmon skin is having the ginger, and I forgot to grab ginger. And so as I was eating it, there's an element of sweetness that comes from the ginger that I like to eat with the salmon skin. I didn't get that, so it wasn't quite complete, but overall I really enjoyed the texture and the seasoning that was on the salmon skin.
Yeah, and having a bite of that salmon skin, I thought it was really crispy. I think they did a really good job with that. One item that I always grab are the roast beef. I thought this one was seasoned really, really well. It had a nice season along the fatty side as well, and it was really, really, really tender. Even more tender than some of the buffets that we've been to in Las Vegas, which is pretty surprising for me, because I kind of expected the Asian buffet not being as tender. I don't know why I expected that, but I just thought Vegas should be standard, but this was way, way better than that.
Which is also one of the reasons why, you want to try different buffets everywhere. You get really surprised, and like I said earlier in the video, I'd never been to this one, so I was really happy that we came down and tried it, because now, it's in our own hometown, and I know that if I want to come have a good buffet, I can head down here and have some more. One of the things I did like was the salt and pepper shrimp. A lot of the other buffets, sometimes when you'll find somebody who makes it, they might not fry the shrimp enough, and so you kind of get that exoskeleton shell that doesn't crisp up, and then it gets really difficult to eat. And that's one of the things that I really don't enjoy when it comes to salt and pepper shrimp. But in this case, they did it well enough, and so you took that bite in, and it was nice and crispy, and it didn't kind of leave that exoskeleton kind of liner in your mouth because you couldn't chew it. Because when you don't cook it quite right, it's a hard chew, and you just can't break it down with your teeth. It's more like I would describe as a thin plastic feel to it. But when it's cooked right, it just becomes crispy, wafer thin, and that was something that I thought was good that they did.
And moving on to the dessert sections here, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of cookies and cakes here, and they also have the chocolate fountain here, as well as ice cream, and they also have a crepe section and also a cotton candy section, and I thought that was the best part for me.
Yeah, I was surprised with the chocolate fountain too. I'm not sure, maybe it's like a Washington thing, because if you've seen our previous episode, we went to the Snoqualmie buffet, and they also had a chocolate fountain. But with all our visits to the Las Vegas buffets, I don't think we've ever seen a chocolate fountain. So maybe it's just a Washington thing where Washington buffet patrons really want a chocolate fountain. But it's always nice to see, because you always have those extra options that make buffeting even better.
And being seated so close to the dessert section, it was nice to see how they started it up, and then watching the chocolate flow from the machine. That was a nice part of sitting so close and being so early there.
Yeah, and being an Asian buffet, they also offered Asian desserts. So as you can see, they had some various soups and other fried items that are more common in terms of Asian foods. And I did have the tapioca soup. I thought it was okay. I think they could have added more tapiocas in it. It seemed kind of light, and probably a little bit more sweetness, which is something that is probably surprising to hear from me, since I don't like things super sweet. But in this case, I thought it was more on the bland side, so a little bit more sweetness would have been nice to it.
Yeah, and another item I really did want to try was the crepe station. I remember in Vegas, I wanted to compare it to our Vegas section when we went to, I believe it was Excalibur, is it, Simon? I think they were the ones who had the crepe station, and it would have been nice if I got to try that, except I was so full already, and I just settled with just cotton candy, because that was the fluffiest and lightest thing that they had.
Which, in my opinion, in itself was very surprising. Just the fact they had a cotton candy machine, because what other buffet has that I can think of? I really can't think of anything else. So it was very surprising to see that they had that machine there, which is pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure, outside of you, Micah, too, but other kids who do come to the buffet, they probably just love that.
Yeah, and being early there, they had to. I had to wait a while for them to start it up and get everything ready, because I think I was the first one who asked for cotton candy that day, and they were not quite set up for it yet. So the lady was like, "Oh, just come back in 5 minutes before it's ready." But I wanted to film it, and I wanted to watch them make the cotton candy, so I just pretty much stood there and just stayed there until it was done.
Yeah, I didn't have any myself, but it looked like your typical cotton candy, which is nice and sweet and fluffy. But yeah, definitely it was a surprise to me, a happy surprise at that they actually offered this. So kudos to them for offering these different things that it kind of brings a point, at least a point where you kind of have at least in your memory, just something a little different than other buffets, and it kind of sticks out. So that was something really cool.
Yeah, so overall, I really enjoyed this buffet. I would definitely be back again with my family. I think next time I may come here for dinner. I know dinner time, they usually, in the past, they've offer like crab legs and other seafood items, so that is something I'll be looking forward to try in the future.
And to wrap up the episode are our notables, and unfortunately for this episode we did not have any notables.
And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. For more photos of food and our travels, follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.